Let's see how we're gonna solve this problem. Find the length and the width of a rectangle that has parameter is 22. And here is the thing. Parameter is 22, 220, and maximum area. Maximum or minimum area, this one's going to be the first derivative. You remember when we need to find the maximum, always we're going to do the first derivative and equal to the 0. So always I'm going to know when they ask me maximum area, maximum volume, minimum area, minimum volume, this is going to be the derivative, okay? Now, I need to use this information because now it's a rectangle. So I know there is a rectangle. I'm gonna say, okay. X is the width and Y is the length. Or we can do the opposite thing. Let's do this is the length for the rectangle and the Y is the width. Okay. Now let's use this one. They tell you the parameter, and you have to know to find the parameter for rectangle. Parameter is going to be 2 length plus 2 width. This is the formula. To find the parameter for any rectangle is going to be 2 the length plus 2 the width. Let's write down the formula. 2 length plus 2 width. So the parameter is going to be 2x plus 2y. Okay, now what I'm going to do next? I have the parameter 220. So let's plug in 220 here. 2x plus 2y. Now, can I divide both sides by 2? That means 110 is going to be x plus y. In this case, I'm going to solve it for y. Y is going to be 110 minus x. Okay? Now, what else I can use? I've done it from the parameter because I have the formula. I'm plugging everything here. I found one of these variables. Write down x or y. It's up to you. It's not going to affect anything. You can use x or y. Now I have y equal 110 minus x. Now I'm going to go back here. They're telling you maximum area. That means I have to use the formula to find the area for rectangle. To find the area is going to be length times width. This is the formula. So here is area equal length times width. How much y? I need to write down to in one variable. So area is going to be x times y is 110 minus x. Let's simplify this one. Area is going to be 110x minus x squared. Maximum area. Maximum area. That means I'm going to find the derivative. The derivative for area with respect to the x is going to be 110 minus. Take the derivative equal to 0. So 110 minus 2x equal 0. So like finding the critical point. Same procedure. Find the first derivative equal to 0. Now it's going to 110 equal 2x. Divide by 2. So x is going to be what? 110 divided by 2. 110 divided by 2. 55. So here is, we have the length is 55. How are we going to find the width? Y equal 110 minus x. So y equal 110 minus 55. So how much is going to be y? 55. 55, 110. It's a weird rectangle. But by using y equal 55 and x equal 55, we're gonna get what?
Maximum area.
The maximum area. The black square. Right?
Oh, and this is question 3 on the homework.
This one?
Question 2 was what you just explained. Opposite.
That was for that one. Okay. For question 2, let's check this example. They tell you find points on the graph f of x equal. Square. You're gonna tell me how to flag this graph. Find points on the graph f of x equal x squared. F of x equal x squared, the graph look like parabola up. This is f of x equal x squared. So we need to find points on this graph that are closest to the point 0, 6. Let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is the point 0, 6. That's the only information that we have. What are we gonna do? We need to find points on the graph and these points is going to find one of these points is going to be the closest point to the 0, 6. So let's assume that our point is x point, right? X point on f of x equal x squared. We're just gonna write down a random point with xy. And this point is going to be the closest point on the 0 to the point 0, 6. Now, what's the next? Let's assume here's the point. This is the closest point. And we'll say it's xy. So if I need to find, is this the point, the closest point to this one, what I'm gonna do? So far until now, doesn't have anything with the Cal.1. Now here's the graph, okay? And here is the point. I'm gonna say this point is the closest point to the point 0, 6. What I'm gonna do? How am I gonna know this is the closest point? Here's another thing, because I need you to think.
Yeah, I mean, I guess.
I have this point and I have this point. How I'm gonna find this point is the closest to the 0, 6, or this point is the closest to the 0, 6?
So, all right, we just keep thinking, let's try and find the difference.
Say it again.
Do the limit as it's approaching there?
The limit is gonna be super hard. But what you said, find
So find the difference
the difference between what? Find the difference between what?
between the point that they gave you and the points you have.
Because here's the point, okay?
So
Let's
the
say-
smaller the difference, the closer it is.
So, okay. You're almost. So XY, I'm gonna say this is the point, or this one is the point, right? Which is the closest point to the 0, 6. How I'm gonna check that? Here's the thing. I'm gonna stand here. I'm XY. No, let's stand here because so they can see me. I'm XY, okay?
Okay.
And you are, no, I'm 0, 6. And you are this point XY, and you are this point XY. How are we gonna know I'm closest to you or to her? Don't look to the graph. How are you gonna know I'm closest to you or to her? I'm 0, 6. How are we gonna know? Now, when you look to the, I'm not gonna say it. How are you gonna know When,
So finding the
stand here.
difference, obviously, but.
difference of what?
Um,
What's that?
distance.
Distance. I'm 0.6. You're gonna find the distance here, and you're gonna find the distance.
And the difference.
No, you have to find if the distance between me and you is 5, and the distance between me and here is 6. What's that mean? That's mean you are closest to me, right? I'm 0.6. You got the point? So what we're gonna use this formula. You got the point? So x, y, 0.6, that's me. I'm gonna use the distance formula, which is
Yeah.
so here's the point, be careful, and here is 0.6. The distance formula is what? X2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared. This is the distance formula, but you guys say, I have radical, I hate radicals. So here is the point. Because I already assumed this point is xy, and the other point is 0.6. Let's plug in this point. I'm gonna say this is x1, y1, and here as well. x2, y2. Two points. I'm not gonna care what we're gonna put the x1, y1. You can put x1, y1 here, and this is x2, y2, because it's the distance, always positive. Okay? Because the squared here make everything here is positive always. Okay? So don't worry about which one you're gonna put x1 or y1. Just plug in these 2 points here. That means the distance of, let's say x2, which is 0 minus x1 is x squared. Yes or no?
Yes.
Plus y2 is 6 minus y1 is y and x squared. I'm gonna say, okay, what I'm gonna do next? What I'm gonna do next? Come on, what are you gonna do next? The problem is where? Don't look to the D. The problem is where?
Finding the x and the y.
Which is with the radical. So if I wanna cancel the radical, what I'm gonna do?
Square.
Square both sides. If the distance is the smallest distance, right? The closest to the point 0.6, which is mean the smallest distance. So if the distance is, let's say 5, if I square it, it's going to be 25, but the 5 is still a small distance. So it's not gonna change anything if I square both sides. If I square both sides, it's going to be d squared equal, and the left from here, x squared. Let's write it down. Then we're gonna simplify it. 0 minus x squared plus 6 minus y squared. That's mean distance squared equal what? Now, what's the next step? What's the meaning of an x?
It's y.
It's y. This is the same thing, y equal x squared. So I have all this information here. This is y equal x squared. So can I plug in here? That means b squared equal x squared plus 6 minus x squared squared. That's it. You don't have to worry now. Can you simplify this one? Can you simplify this one? Yes or no? E squared. Here is x squared. Now this one is going to be plus 3x6 minus 6x squared minus again 6x squared plus 1. Plus x to the power 4. Yes or no? You did something wrong.
Oh, I have that.
Now what's the next? What are we gonna do? B squared equal. Let's write down this again.
Like terms.
Yes. Minus 12. Because we have 12 here and plus 1, so it's going to be 11. 11x squared plus 96. See now everything to one variable. I'm gonna say here is the small distance. You can assume, you can keep it like this, or you can say okay, it's g of x equal x to the power 4 minus 11x squared plus 36, which is the same thing, distance squared. Now can I find the derivative? The derivative for x is going to be 4x cubed minus 22x. So don't confuse yourself about the distance. This is still the distance, not the same thing. I'm gonna say, okay, the distance squared is what? The g of x. Now find the derivative, get the derivative equal to 0. So it's going to be 4x cubed minus 22x equals 0. Now how I'm gonna solve this one? 2x as a common, what's the left? X squared minus 11 equals 0. 2x equals 0. Yes or no? 2x equals 0. Does that mean x equals 0? Can I say the distance equals 0? I'm solving 2x equals 0. Can I say the distance equals 0?
Did you go in there or no?
What?
Yeah.
What's it in?
Does the 2 go into parentheses too?
Yes. Then go answer here. So 2x equals 0. Can I say the distance equals 0? Can I say the distance between any point here and the point 0.06 equals 0? Can I say the distance between me and you 0?
No.
You can't. So I can't choose this one. That means this is wrong. I'm gonna go to the other parentheses. 2x squared minus 11 equal 0, then let's do it. Minus 11 equals 0. That means 2x squared equal 11. Divide both sides by 2. So x squared equal 11 over 2. Take the square root for both sides. X is going to be equal 1.
Plus or minus.
Square root of 11 over 2. Now this is the x. How are we gonna find the y? This is x. How are we gonna find the y? This is the x. I have two values. How are we gonna find the y?
Look at it.
Where?
Oh, it's x2, right?
No.
Would that be
X
x1?
equal plus or minus. That's me. Can I check the negative? I need to find the points because that's the questions. Find the points. So I have the x, I have two x's. These the points with the x coordinate, which is the closest to the point 0.6. How are we gonna find the y? Don't overthink it. How are we gonna find the y? Y equal what?
Oh,
Same thing, come on. Y equal x, don't overthink it. That's mean y equal, if I plug in the positive or negative, it's going to be 11 over 2 let's say plus or minus is going to be what? Square. That means y is going to be just 11/2. That means always the y positive. Is that right? When x is negative side, the y is what? Positive. When the x on the positive side, the y is what? Positive 2. That means we have 2 points. The first point is negative square root of 11/2 and 11/2. And the other point is going to be positive square root 11/2 11/2 and 11/2. These are the 2 points, which is the closest point to the 0.06. Okay, let's check the other one. Find the points on the graph of x equal x minus 1 squared that closest to the point -5, 3. Now, if you check this one, it's the same graph of x equal x squared. But what happened to the graph? I tell me forgot. What happened to the graph?
It's not a reflection, it's a.
It's not reflection. Reflection if there is negative sign outside. So this is, you have the graph of, this is the graph of x squared. Perfect. When there is -1, it's going to be shifted to the right. So the same graph shifted to the right, how many units? 1 unit. That means our new graph is where? In here. That's the only difference. So the same procedure, everything the same. What are you gonna do? The first step. We're gonna do the first step. XY is the point closest to this point, right? I'm gonna find the distance. The distance is going to be, this is x1, y1. I'm gonna say this is x2, y2. That means it's going to be y2, y1. x2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared. That means our distance is going to be square root of x2 is -5 minus x1, there's the x squared, plus y2 minus y1 squared. Can I square both sides? So it's going to be -5 minus x squared plus 3 minus y squared. Now what's the next step? What's the next step? I was trying to plug in, but you said foil, I'm gonna foil.
We're gonna plug in the x minus 1 squared
Yes,
because of the y.
because when you foil this one, it's going to be everything with y. You're gonna go back, gonna plug in this one, and also it's going to be have to foil it again. So let's plug in this one first. Why I'm plugging this one here?
Why?
I was doing the y. Alpha of x equal x minus 1 squared is the same thing y equal x minus 1 squared. So the same thing. That means I'm gonna plug in this one here. That's me. D squared is going to be -5 minus x squared plus, I'm gonna change this one to bracket 3 minus x minus 1 squared, and here's squared. Wow. How many times we're gonna foil? Let's foil this part. This square is going to be 25 plus 5x plus again 5x plus x squared. Now what about this one? Plus, keep this bracket, here is the 3 minus. I'm gonna FOIL everything here, which is x squared minus 2x plus 1. Yes or no? So on this side, 25, that's mean d squared equal 25 plus 10x plus x squared. What about the other side? Can I distribute the negative sign? Negative sign here, so I can combine the terms and then FOIL it again. So it's going to be plus there's the 3 is going to be minus x squared plus 2x minus 1. And here's squared. They combine the like terms, that means d squared equal 25 plus 10x plus x squared plus combine these, so it's going to be negative x squared 3 minus 1 plus 2x plus 2. Everything here is squared. What's the next? What's the next? Come on, what's the next? It's squared equal 25 plus 10x plus x squared yes or no? Because I need to FOIL this one. So I'm gonna write down 2 parentheses. Go ahead. The first one times the first one. X to the power 4. This one times this one. So minus 2x cubed. This one times the last one. So minus 2x squared. I'm done from the first term. The second one, 2x times, so the minus 2x cubed. Now the second one times this one plus 4x squared. This one times this one. Plus what? 4x. Which is this one times this one. Now, minus 2 times minus 2x squared. 2 times, so plus 4x plus 4. Now d squared, what's the next step?
Combine like terms.
Just combine like terms, which is, there's x to the power 4, which is the highest one. Now let's check. I have a cubed here. So it's going to be minus
4x cubed.
well, x cubed. What next? What do we have? Square. Let's check the square. 1 minus 2 going to be negative 1. Negative 1 plus 4 is going to be 3x squared. 3x squared minus 2
It's x squared.
plus x squared. What's next? The x. We have 10. What else we have?
Plus 4.
Plus 4, so 14. Plus 4
18.
plus 18. X. What's next? 25. Plus 4
29.
plus 20. See how it's cool, this one? We didn't finish. That's mean. You can say, okay, this is g of x. Equal x to the power 4 minus 4x cubed plus x squared plus 18x plus 29. Next step, we're gonna find the derivative, which is the easiest part. 4x cubed minus what?
12x squared,
12x squared plus
2x.
2x plus 18. Next step, you can say, okay, I'm gonna set up the derivative equal
0.
to 0. Here's the derivative. That's the cool part. We set up the derivative equal to 0. What's the next step? Which is good point, because if I have 4 terms, I'm gonna factor them by grouping. Can I factor this one by grouping? Let's try. We'll try it on the side. So 2x cubed minus 6x squared plus x plus 9. Factor them by grouping. That's mean I'm gonna group the first 2 terms and the last 2 terms. Now, do I have common here?
Yeah, 2 and x.
2x squared. What's the left? X minus 3. Yes or no? Now, do I have common here? No, there's no common between these two. But do I get the same parentheses? No, that's mean I can't factor them by grouping. What about if we switch the terms? Can I do that? You do that?
Like when we switch the -6 squared and the x.
With the x, it's also not gonna work. Right. It's a 2x cubed plus x minus x squared plus 9. Can I do that? Can I do that with polynomials? Yes or no? Can I do that with polynomials? Can I switch? Because these are just to refresh your memory. Can I switch the terms with polynomials? With polynomials, if you have a plus bx plus cx squared, and I write down cx squared plus bx plus a,
Yes.
I can do that. So that means I can just switch these 2 terms. It's fine. It's not gonna change anything. But now if I use factoring by grouping, what's the common here? What's the common here?
X plus 1.
X. What's the left? 2x squared plus 1. What's the common here? What's the common here?
3.
3.
So plus a 3. What's the left? 2x squared plus what?
3.
Do I have the same parentheses? No, that's mean I can't use this method. So what I'm gonna do, that's it, this is the solution. Let's check the other method. Can't do anything here, we're just wasting time. Let's check here, no, not wasting time. Refresh your memory. So what I'm gonna do here now, don't worry about the 2, because can I say 2 equals 0? No, that means this is not a statement. I'm gonna just focus on 2x cubed on this part equals 0. Now I'm gonna ask you, which number I can plug in here to get equal 0? See, that's how we're thinking about that. I know you're
Oh,
gonna think, which number are you gonna plug in here?
you're talking about division, right?
No, like just any number, plug in here. the result is going to be equal 0.
0.
Can't, 'cause
If
I-
you plug in 0, 0, 0, 9 equals 0, you see, so you can't use the 0. Okay. As you say, okay, I'm gonna keep plugging. That's a good point, believe me. I'm gonna keep plugging and plugging. Let's do some. I have to remember it. I'm gonna remember it now, okay. Always P equal. Is that okay?
Yeah.
P equal what?
2.
No. The factors of this number. To be the factors of this number. P over Q, so P here. The factors of 2, which is what?
1
2.
and 2.
1 and 2, so plus or minus 1, plus or minus 2. Should be the factors of the big number, so for the 9. We can divide it. So P is the factors of 9, which is a plus or minus 1, plus or minus 3. Okay? That's mean, what's the meaning of factors? Which number are you gonna multiply by itself to get 9? You're gonna say plus or minus 9. But positive times positive is going to be 9. -1 times -9 is going to be 9. The same thing. 3 times 3 and the same thing. Okay, you got it? Now, what Q is what? The factors of this number, which is 2. So plus or minus 1, plus or minus 2. Now we're gonna say P over Q. Divide these numbers. Plus or minus 1. This one divide by this one. This one divide by this one. Two. Plus or minus. Now this one divide by this one. That's 3. This one divide by this one. 3 over 2. And plus or minus 9. The plus or minus 9 over 2. These just possible zeros. Let's start with the first one. Let's take positive 1 or negative 1. You got the point? So you want to do these steps, or you're gonna say, okay, which number I can plug in here to get 0? What's the first option? Well, positive 1, okay? Plug in positive 1 here. This is 2 minus 6, -4. -4 plus 1, -3. -3 plus 9 equals 0? No. Let's take -1. -1 here. 2 times -1 is going to be -2. -2 minus 6. -8. -8 minus 1. -9 plus 9 equals 0. So what's the first number? What's the first 0? -1. That means I already know x equal -1. What's that mean? It's x plus 1. Yes or no? Okay, let's go back to the original one. You're gonna say, okay. Write down the coefficients here. 2, -6, and what? 1 and 9. And what's the result we got here? X equal -1. Yes or no? What's the next step?
Bring down 2.
Yes, this is the scientific division. Bring down the 2. -1 times 2, -2. Add these two numbers is what? -8. -1 times -8 is 8. Add these two numbers is what? Now -1 times 8
Wouldn't that be 9?
That's be 9. Well, we should get 0. -1 times going to be -9, and this number is going to be 0. Now let's check. This one is going to be what? Constant. This one for the x, and this one for the x squared. So this polynomial is going to be equal what? X plus 1, and what the rest? 2x squared minus 8x plus 9 equals 0. Got it? So far? If you distribute this one, these two, the result is going to go back here. So again, you have two options. You're going to do the possibilities, or you're going to start plugging the numbers. Plug in 1, -1, 2, -2. If you got one of these 0, that means this is the first solution. And then you have to do the synthetic division. And be careful, always when you do the synthetic division, your result is supposed to be here. Well, 0. That's mean this is the constant, this is the x, this is the x squared. And always make sure with the polynomial there is no missing term. Because if there is missing term here, you have to write down 0 instead of the missing term. You got it? Because it's going to be mistakes. Like for example, if you have missing x here, there's no number here. What are you gonna do? You're gonna type 0 instead of the 1. Okay? Got it? So far? Now can I factor this one? Can you factor this one? Yes. How? Go ahead, try it. This side, when you factor it, going to be quadratic formula. You have to use only quadratic formula, and that means going to be complex number. That's why we can't use the complex number, because the only thing you can use is a quadratic formula. Or, yeah, you can't, because we have 2. So we have only x plus 1 equal 0, that means x equal -1. We need to find the closest point. Then I'm gonna go back and plug in -1 where?
Into the f of x.
Which is here. We already have y equal x minus 1 squared. That's mean y is going to be what?
4.
-1 minus 1 squared. Y is going to be equal -2 squared. Then y is going to be equal 4. So the point is going to be -1 and 4. You got it? So rectangle page contains 41 square inches of print. The margins on each side are 1 inch. Let's look like this. So here is 1 inch, here is 1 inch, okay, from each side. So let's check how we're gonna find the dimension of the page that least amount of paper is used. So you're gonna say, okay, what I'm gonna use? We need to find the dimension, the length and the width. I can use the area, which contains 41 square inches, which is the area. So the whole thing is 41. Now let's see. If we said that the length is x from this point to this point, the length is x, and this is the y. Okay, that's mean the area is equal x times y. How much the area? 41. That's mean 41 equal x times y. In this case, can I say y equal 41 over x? So this is the first part. Now let's look at the second part. If from this point to this point is x, how much is going to be the length from this point to this point? If from this point to this point is x, we assume that this is x. How much is going to be the length from this point to this point?
X minus 2 inches.
X plus 1 inch is from here, 1 inch from here, so x plus 2, because x, we're gonna add 1 inch here, 1 inch here, so it's gonna be x plus 2. Now, from this point to this point is y. What about from the whole thing here is going to be what?
Y plus 2.
Y plus 2. That's mean. Now, the area equal x plus 2 times y plus 2. And I'm gonna go back and plug in again here the y, which is equal 41 over.
X.
So a is going to be equal x plus 2 times 41 over x plus 2. Now, can I FOIL this one? Area equal x times whatever here. I don't know. X times 2, so they plus 2x. 2 times plus 82 over x. 2 times 2, so plus 4. Combine the like terms, that means the area is going to be what? Because I have this one similar to this one, which is 45 plus 2x plus 82 divided by. Now, what's the next step? What's the next step? Least amount. That's mean I'm gonna do what? Find what? Least amount. That's mean I'm gonna find the derivative here. That's mean dA over d to the x equal. The derivative of this number is 0. So it's going to be the derivative of 2x is going to be 2 plus. What's the derivative here? You're going to say the bottom part times the derivative on the top minus, I'm using the quotient rule here, minus 82 times the derivative of x is 1 divided by what? X squared. This is 0. So dA over dx equal what? 2 minus 82 divided by x squared. The next step, you're gonna set the derivative equal to the 0. How am I gonna solve this one? How am I gonna solve this one?
Ever did the denominator?
Let's multiply by x squared. So it's going to be 2x squared minus 82 equal to the 0. Next step, 2x squared is going to be equal 82 divided by 2. So x squared is going to be equal 41. That means x is going to be plus or minus square root of 41. Can I take the negative? What about y? So here's the x. I need to find what? What is the y? Here's the y, right? So I'm gonna plug in y, x here to get the y. How much is going to be the y? Here, leave everything. We have time. We'll find the x. The x is the length from this point to this point. I need to find the y from this point to this point, which is we're gonna plug in this one where, because we have y equal 4 and 1 over x. Can I take the negative 4 in 1, square root of 4 in 1?
No, because the y can't be negative.
Because it's a length or width, so we can't take the negative, take the positive. So plug in the positive here. How much y is going to be? Y is going to be 4 in 1 over square root of 4 in 1, which is also equal 4 in 1. Square root of 4 in 1. Okay. Now we have x and y. Our goal is to find what? To find y plus 2 and x plus 2. Can we do that? X plus 2 is going to, how much is the x?
Square root of 41.
Plus 2. That's it. Keep it like this. This is the right. Y plus 2 is going to be square root of 4 in 1 plus 2. So overthinking.